Sech the Shvuis, Laf Lamed Beis, Amid Aleph, is starting from Lamed Aleph, Amid Beis, by the Mishnah, around 19 lines in the bottom. Shvuis Eidus, Ketzad, what is the case of Shvuis Eidus? If the Teveya said, Lishnaim to Eidim, Beibavi, Duni, come and testify for my sake in Bezdin. And they answered back, Eidim answered back, Shvuis Eidus. We're swearing that we don't know any Eidus. They gave us Shvuis, they don't know Eidus. Oishamar Loi, or they said without a shvur we don't know Eidus, and the Teveya said Mashbi'ani Alechem, I'm making you swear that your words are truthful. And they answered Amen. And then we find out they lied, so they're chayiv for being able to come and lied in the shvus Eidus. They're chayiv not come out because of shvus Eidus. What's if the Teveya made the Edom swear 5 times outside of Bezdin, and then they came into Bezdin, and they were made that they know Edom Pturim. They're going to be Potter because they're not chayiv for denying outside of Bezdin. Only if they deny in Bezdin. But what's if they denied in Bezdin and they made the 5 shvuos outside of Bezdin? Chayovim al kolach tzveachas. They're going to be chayiv for each and every one of these shvuos. And we learn it out from the pasuk that will be guilty le'achas meila. The word le'achas is extra, and we learn out that the chayiv are carbon for each one of those shvuos that they denied outside of Bezdin. That when he comes to Bezdin and he's made it, they're going to be chayiv for all the 5 shvuos from the word le'achas. But what's if he made them swear 5 times in Bezdin? That they don't know that the words are, that they don't know any Eidus for them. The Kafru and the Eidim denied Tak is saying they don't know Eidus, and that's what they swore upon. If they were made it, they're only going to be chayv for 1. I mean, Shimon, Matam, what's the reason they're not only going to be chayv for 1 now? Either or 5 shvuos. Says because it's once they said already Eidus, denying that they don't know the Eidus, so all the other 5 times that they're going to, 4 extra times that they're going to deny, it's not going to help. Because once they already said Eidus, and then let's say they'll be made and then deny again, they can be made and deny again. Once they say Eidus, they can't say another Haggadah's Eidus. So they can only be chayv for 1 denying, and we catch them by a lie. Since they cannot come back and say another Eidus once they denied, and be made that they do know the Eidus, that can only happen 1 time. It cannot happen, and you cannot be mechayiv them for 5 times. What's if the 2 Eidim denied kechad at 1 time? Then they're both chayiv for the kamish was Eidus. But if they were chayiv b'zachazeh, 1 after the other, so Rishain chayiv. The first one that denied and was caught lying, it was Ivan is Shua is chayiv. Sheni potter, because when you're left only with 1 8 to testify, so then if there's 1 8 to testify, he can be mechayiv mami. So therefore, even if he denies, he's going to be potter. What's if one was kaifa, denied the Eidus, and then the second one was made, the kaifa chayiv. The kaifa is going to be chayiv. And the Gemara will ask, what's the chiddush? If they're both kaifa, or if the second one was made, for sure the first one, the kaifa is going to be chayiv. Especially if he was made. Okay, Gemara will ask that later on. If there were 2 sets of Eidim, the first set of Eidim was kaifa, and then the second one was kaifa. Shteim chayav is they're both chayav. Because each set of Eidus, even if one set denied, and now you have a second set of Eidus, they could have been mekayim the Eidus, the second set, and they denied too. Therefore, they're going to be chayav. B'shteim, meaning each set of the Eidus are going to be chayav. Zag Yimara, Shmuel gesagt, and if the Eidim had seen that Tevei was running after them, they said to him, the Eidim said to the Tevei, what are you running after us? We're saying a shvur that we don't know any testimony for you. Pturim, they're going to be potter from the Shavuos Eidos, even though they were over on the Shvua, till the Teveya demanded that he wants them to swear Shavuos Eidos. Because he didn't demand from them, so they're not chayiv for Shavuos Eidos. My Kamashwan, in fact, what is he coming to teach us? Tanita, this we had already learned in a Mishnah on Lamed Hey. Shilch B'Yad Avdei, if the Teveya sent to a Eved to be Teva, from Teveya to claim from the Edom, they should testify for him. Or Shalom Anitva, or the Nitva, the other side said, Mashbi Ani Aleichem, I want you, Edom, to testify even against me for the Teveya. Shimatem Yedin Loi, that if you know testimony for the Teveya, Edis, if you know any testimony, Usidu, you shall come and testify for him. Nevertheless, these Eidim are going to be part from Shavuos Eidos because the Teveya himself, till they hear from the Teveya himself, only then will they be chayiv for Shavuos Eidos. We said that the Teveya was running after them. So the Gemara is answering, what do we need it for? The Cheder we already know from the later Mishnah. And the Gemara, the Mishnah needed our Mishnah is being mechadish. That even though Ratzach Hareim Yitzchalei, even though he's running after them, we need that's the Chiddush. I would have thought, given the Ratzach Hareim, since the Tevei was running after the Eidim, Commander Amalu Dami, that in itself, from the fact that he was running after the Eidim, it was obvious he wanted the Eidim to testify for him, even though he didn't say anything. So I would have thought it's considered, as he said to them, they should testify. Kamash Malon comes the Gemara and teaches us it's not the Mishnah, and teaches us it's not considered as he said to them that they should testify. Thank you, Gemara. This too we already learned. Shavuos Eidos Ketzad. What is the case of Shavuos Eidos? Amar le'edim, the Teveya said to the Eidim, come and testify for me. And they answered, Shvua, they swear they don't know any Eidos. So they are chayav. So from this, that the Mishnah uses the word Omar, that the Teveya said, Omayin, only if the Teveya said, I want you to testify, that will they be chayav for Shavuos Eidos? Lo Yama, but if the Teveya didn't say, I want you to testify for me, Lo, I would not say that he's going to be chayav for Shavuos Eidos. So what do I need? Our Mishnah to teach us this for? This we already learned. And because it says b'feidish Amma, and the Gemara Amalav Davka, I could have said, if not for the words of Shmuel, I would have said that Amma in the Mishnah doesn't mean that he has to say. I would have said that because if you're not going to say, then I could have thought Amma means Lav Davka. Lagabi Pikadin, by Pikadin, by Shavuos Pikadin, we learned Shavuos Pikadin Ketzad. How does the Shavuos Pikadin work? Amalei means that the Teveya says to the one that's holding on to the Pikadin, Tenli Pikadin Sheish B'Yadcha, give me my Pikadin that's in your hand. Here too, are you going to say Amar only if he demanded that he wants his Pikadin in Lo Yamalei, but if he didn't demand, the one who has the Pikadin doesn't have to swear. The Chiv Shavuos Pikadin is Nayik, even if the Bailam are not being Teveya, like it says V'chichesh Ba'amisei b'Pikadin Koldu, in any Eifin, he's mechuyev to swear about denying having the Pikadin. Ella Amma Lavdafka. Only we have to say this that the Mishnah says Amma by Shavuos Pikadin doesn't mean specifically that he said that the Teveya was demanding that he should swear he doesn't have the Pikadin. Hachanami Lavdafka. So too by Shavuos Eidos, like a lump shot, it means Lavdafka. Is this your raya? If you say our Mishnah says that Amma has to be written because it's only if the Teveya is Teveya's Shavuos Eidos, then it's good, and if not, not. Tana Hasan, then I could say, oh, that's why you learn by Shavuos Pikadin Lashon Amma. Because of over here, Amar has to be said, so we said the Lashon Amma by Shavuos Pikadin. If you're going to say Loi Amad Hasam, that by Shavuos Dafka, that the Oma of by Shavuos Pekadon is not lav Dafka, and by Shavuos Haidus is also not the Dafka. It doesn't have to be said Dafka Omar. That's Chashayla Omar twice in two Mishnahs where there's no need to say the Omar. Why does the Tana have to learn it? It makes no sense. Akarchak Dafka, he uses the Lashon Omar B'Shavuos Haidus to teach us that the Edom are not Chayiv unless he says Omar. So you can't use the Lashon Omar. You can't say Omar is lav dafke. I would have never thought it's lav dafke. Then why would he say Omar by Shavuos Pekadon? And also, if Omar is lav dafke now Mishnah, why would he say both? So this that he used is the. So after you want to know, I would have said it's lav dafke because Dilma Ocher the Milsa. Maybe he used the Lashon Omar because that's the way people speak. The Teveya says to the Edom, his Tfiya befedish. Kamash Malan, that's why Shmuel had to tell us that. In our Mishnah, it's Nageil Halacha. Oh my, only if the Teveya said to the Edom and demanded them Shavuos Haidus, then they're Chayiv Shavuos Haidus. If not, they're Potter. Tanya Kavasei to Shmuel, we learned in Abayis similar to Shmuel. If the Edom had seen the Teveya Shabbat Hareim coming after them, if the Edom saw the Teveya running after them, and the Edom said to them, why are you coming after us? We're saying a Shua, we don't know any Edis. Turin, we learned the Fetish. The Edom are going to be part of Shavuos Edis because the Teveya didn't say the Fetish with his mouth that he wants them to testify for him. But if it happened by Pekadon, that the Teveya didn't demand from the one that's holding the Pekadon, Chayabin, he's still there. It's still all those that are holding Pekadon are mechiv to always swear Shavuos Pekadon that they don't have the Pekadon. We learned in the Mishnah if he made them swear 5 times outside of Bezdin, and they came into Bezdin and they were made a potter. But if they denied him outside of Bezdin 5 times, I'm saying if he denied and then he denied also in Bezdin, then he's going to be chai for all the kfiris he did outside of Bezdin. In fact, you might have been how do you know it's only on the kvira that makes the person chai for the Shavuos Haidus and not the Shua? But outside the Bezdin, he's not going to be kvira outside the Bezdin. He's not going to be chayiv. Abai says in the pasuk, lo yagid v'nos. If he won't say over the Haidus, he will carry us in. Lo yamat lechad that the Haidus is going to be chayiv b'Shavuos Haidus. Only in the place where he denies the Eidos, in the place where he's saying the Eidos, only in that case will it be Chayiv Mammon. Papa said to Abaye, if so, Ema Shvur Gufa, say that the Shvur too, the Shvur itself, only Bezdin in, only if the Shvur was done in Bezdin, that's what will be Chayiv. But if it was Shlei Bezdin, if the Shvur was not done in Bezdin, I would say he's not going to be chayiv. Says it shouldn't enter your mind that the shua has to be done in Bezdin at the time because we learned in the Braisa in the pasuk it says it will be that he'll be guilty in one of these. The la'achas is extra la'chayv. That he's chayiv for all the shuas that he did outside of Bezdin if he denied one time in Bezdin. Now, if it's going to enter your mind, it is la'chayv only if the shua was be Bezdin. Could he then be chayiv? Like in our Mishnah, he made 5 shuas outside of Bezdin. He's going to be chayiv for all the 5 shuas outside of Bezdin. If you say the shua has to be done in Bezdin, he can only be chayiv for one. But none. He's be alein chamish b'yamim b'fnei Bezdin. If the teveya was mashbiya these 8 5 times in Bezdin, they kafir and they denied in Bezdin, ein chayav in lachas. It's only going to be chayiv one because ein shua chal na shua. What's the reason that he's only going to be chayiv for one of the shvuos? Hoyel, since the din is once they ate more kaifa bebezdin, they cannot retract ulohedis and to be made that they know the edis. Since we learned from our Mishnah that once the shvua wasn't bezdin, from our Mishnah that when the shvua wasn't bezdin, you cannot be mechayiv them only one time because the one denial that's the edis they cannot retract. The pasuk from which we learn to be chayiv on each shvua, if it was 5 different shvuos, the shvuos were done outside of Bezdin. Is that ayah that the shvuos could be done outside of Bezdin? Only the kefira has to be done in Bezdin. For sure, we can learn out from here that the chiyuv shvuos eidus is even shul mechutz lebezdin, even if it's going to be outside of bezdin, and it's only the kvira bebezdin. Only the kvira has to be done in bezdin. So we learned in the Mishnah Kafrish and Ka'achas, if they both denied like one, both are going to be chayiv. So it's impossible that they should both say in the same time. Who's this Mishnah learn like? Like Rabbi Yosef Aglili. Who Rabbi Yosef Aglili says it's possible that it should be in the exact same time. Like by Becheir, we say that by the baby that sticks out the head, it's shayach. According to Rabbi Yosef Aglili, he says it's possible that they should stick out their heads in the same exact time, and therefore he learns pshat v'asachas kipshute v'asachas. Rabbi Yochanan afilu temei even according to Rabbanan who say it's impossible v'asachas, and the Rabbanan say by becher where you're not sure which one came out first, because they hold it's impossible v'asachas. You sell both, and the worth of one becher goes to the kain. The other one goes to the balabat. So Rabbi Yochanan says, even according to Rabbanan who say it's impossible that it should happen at the same time. What's the case? That they both denied Teich Kidei Dibur was within the time of saying Shalom Alecha Rebbe. Teich Kidei Dibur, Kidei Bedam, and Teich Kidei Dibur is as if they're saying it in the same time. Let's look into it. Teich Kidei Dibur, what's the shear of Teich Kidei Dibur? Kamahavi, Kidei Shilas Tam LeRabbi. Today to say Shalom Alecha Rebbe. That's only 3 words. But the words of denial is 6 words. So Ikidam Kidei Shil Sarav Latamu, which is only 2 words. Shalom Alecha. Arav Tatamu just says the words Shalom Alecha. And but Mashain came by the 2 Eidim, by the Shus Eidis, is only after they say 6 words. Shvua She'ein Adam Yeidim Lecha Eidus. It's 6 words. Tuvavi. So how could it be Teich Kidei Dibur? Teich Kidei Dibur has to be within 3 words. Amalei says, that means after the first one finished his testimony, Teich Kidei Dibur, of the finishing of the first guy's testimony, he says Eidus within 3 words, then it's considered as 2. What if they denied one after the other? The Rishon is chayiv. And the second one is Potter. Why is the Rishon Chayev? Because the Rishon could have testified with both, but the Sheni, when he's left as the second one, he himself cannot be Mechayev Mamin, so therefore he's Potter. Masnis and the Leikei Kana, our mission does not follow like the following, but I saw Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon. The Tanya that we learned in Rabbi Isa, Mashbi Eid Echad, we make 1 8 swear, and if the Eid denies in knowing Eidus, Potter, he's Potter from Kamish was Eidus. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Mechayev. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon says he's going to be Chayev if he denies in the Eidus. Let me back him if we should we say this is what they're arguing about? The Masav Eid Echad Ki Asa. One Tana holds, the Tanakama holds till 1 8 comes to testify. 1 8 comes to testify. Lishvu the Kasa. He's only coming to be Mechayev the other party a Shvur, not Mami. Uman Rabbi Elazar Saba Eid Echad Ki Asa. When 8 comes to testify, the Mamaina Kasa, he's coming to be Mechayiv the other side money. So according the Kavanah is that so since he's coming to be Mechayiv Mamin, so therefore he holds that even by 1 8 we will be Chayiv Ashwas Eidus. In fact, could you then hold that the time of Rabbi Elazar is because the 8 Echad comes to be Mechayiv Mamin? Hama Abaya said when again the machlekes of this Tanoim about Eid Echad, if Eid Echad is coming to be Mechayiv Ashur or Mamei, and you want to say because Eid Echad is coming to be Mechayiv Mamei, therefore our Mishnah cannot follow him because he should be Chayiv of Shua Seidus. Hama Abaya said when again the machlekes of these Tanoim, Akol Meida cited Tanakam and Rabbi Elazar But 8 Saita, in a specific case where a person is mashbiya 8 Saita, meaning testifies against the 8 Saita, we're going to learn later on what the case is, but the case is that the Adam that said already a Kina Ustira, and this aid comes and says about Tumah, this aid by saying we'll trust this aid on the Tumah, and if we trust aid on the Tumah, she doesn't get the drink and she loses the Ksuba. Everybody holds that his Chayiv was aid. Akol made him and everybody agrees by Eidei Saita. And we'll bring down the case later. Machlekes, and then there's a machlekes by a specific case by Eidei Saita. Then you have Akol Meidim, and everybody agrees by Eid Echad by Dinim Mamanis. And we'll bring down the case of Dinim Mamanis. Akol Meidim, and everybody agrees by Eid Echad by Dinim Mamanis, Shekenegli Choshev Al Shvua. That the opposite side is Chosh Ashur, who couldn't swear, so that aid is aid for Mamanis. I'm going to talk about it soon. So now the Gemara wants to explain better the Tama Machlekes between the Tanakama and Rabbi Elazar. Ella, like according to the words of Abai, the Kuliyama Eid Echad Kiyasi Lishvukasi. Really, everybody holds Eid Echad when he comes. L'Divihakol, that aid is coming to testify a Shvua, not for Mamain. Most people would rather pay Mamain than swearing. So really, the Eidus is for Shvua. And here, out that the Tanaim are arguing, one holds, meaning Rabbi Elazar holds, since when the Eidus mechayiv somebody a Shvua, rather a person would rather pay money than having to swear. So it's a goydem that causes him to pay money, and he holds its hazardin like Mamain, and therefore it's considered as an Eidach testifying for Mamain, but really Eidach is testifying for Shua. Uman, the Tanakama Sava holds Lav K'Mamin Dami, holds no, that even though it could cause the person instead of swearing to pay Mamain, it's not considered as Mamain. Gufa, we had previously learned, Abaya said, Akol Meidim Be'eid Saita. Everybody agrees by Eid Saita. Akol Meidim by the specific case of Eidei Saita, and then we learn machlekes, and there's a machlekes Eidei Saita in one case of two Eidei Saita. Then Hakol Meidim be'Eid Echad by a specific case by Echad Eid Echad b'Dinim Mamanis. Hakol Meidim, and then everybody agrees be'Eid by one Eid Echad by Dinim Mamanis by a case of Shekinegdei Chosher Al Ashwa. So now the Gemara is going to explain each case individually. Hakol Meidim. Be'eid of a seita shechayiv, he's going to be chayiv shvus ha'edus. What is it talking about? Be'eid, by a case where the Baal makes the eid echad swear that he knows the edus of the tumah of the wife. Meaning, after they were already edim for the kina and stira, so one aid is enough to testify for the tumah, and then she wouldn't get to drink the water. She would have to get divorced, and the ksuba would have to be paid. So we're dealing with dinim mavanes. So such a aid who would deny would be chayiv shvus ha'edus. The Achmana Hemne, the Torah trusted one aid to testify in the tumah. The chsiva aid ein ba, and it says the lashon aid ein ba. Whenever it says aid, it means two aiden, except if it says ve'aid echad, like we learn in Masechta Saita. So kol sheyesh ba aid ein ba kol any aidus that he has, that this one aid who has testimony on the tumah will be believed. The Torah would trust him, and would stop her from drinking the mei amarim after there's aid kine v'tztira. This aid is believed on the tumah. She wouldn't get to drink the mei amarim, and she would have to get divorced and lose the ksuba. So this aid, by denying the testimony of tumah, is causing that the husband shouldn't get his money, that he shouldn't become part of the ksuba. So that's why he's Oivan Shvus Ha'edus. Hakol Meidim. What's the case for Hakol Meidim Eidei Saita? What's the case? Potter, that he's Potter from Shvus Ha'edus. This is talking about Be'edei Kinoi, where the husband made the Eidim who testified that he wanted the wife not to be alone, that they could deny the testimony and they're Potter. They have a Geidim to Geidim. Because it's a Geidim to Geidim. This Eidus would only cause a case of mamain after there's going to be Eidei Stira. And the Eidei Stira, so once there's Eidei Stira, and you have the Eidei Kina together with the Eidei Stira, it still doesn't, it only causes her to admit to her guilt. So so it's not a direct connection to money. So therefore, they're not going to be chayiv for Shavous Eidos by Eidei Kinoi. Machloikes by Eidei Seita. What's the case of the Machloikes by Eidei Seita? That it's by Eidei Stira. You have a case where they were mashbia the Eidei Stira, that they should testify, that the Eidim should testify that she was alone with this man after the Eidei Kinui. So if the Eidim deny that they don't know any Eidis, so it's a machlekes between Rabbi Lezer and the Tanakama. Mar Sova Dava Agadu Mami Kimam Dami. Rabbi Lezer holds it's considered a Geidam Lamame, because once they would have testified on the stira, that would have caused her to be Maida, and would have been caused her to be Maida and give up the ksuba. The chayv would have been chayv. But man, the Tanakama Sava, no, lav kimam and dami upata. It's not considered as mame, and it's pata from Shavous Eidos. Okay, zog the Gemara, because lav dafka. It's still not a direct connection that she would be made. So it could be she'll be made and not want to drink and then forfeit her ksuba. Okay, we learned everybody is in agreement that the 8 echad is going to be chai b'Shavous Eidos. If he denies, he has to say the Shavous Eidos. Everybody agrees by 8 echad that he's going to be chai for Shavous Eidos. Which case? The Rabbi Abba. The case of Rabbi Abba. So now we're going to say Hakol Modim, the first case of Shekineg the Choshel al Ashwa, and then we're going to say Hakol Modim Beidachad of Rabbi Abba. First case was Hakol Modim Shekineg the Choshel al Ashwa. That the 8 Echad is Chai b'Shavous Eidos, and the reason why he's Chayiv, because in such a case, his Eidos will be Mechayiv Mami. The Nitva won't be able to pater himself by swearing, because he's a choshed al ashwa, and since he's a choshed al ashwa, he won't be able to swear. He'll have to pay. In fact, one of the choshed man, who was the one that was choshed al ashwa? If you're going to say the borrower was a choshed, and the aid testifies that he borrowed money, and now the lady cannot swear against that. The Malva says today, if you would have came and testified for me, I would have, if the Levi wouldn't be able to swear, then since the Levi cannot swear, I would have sworn, and I would have been able to collect the money, because the Levi wouldn't be able to swear. So I for sure would have gotten the money by you not testifying, making the Levi swear, and the Levi cannot swear, which would have allowed me to swear, and I would have sworn, and I would have collected the money. In fact, the mother, let the aid say, who says that you would have sworn? Even if I would have testified that this aid, this Levi owes the money, and the Levi wouldn't be able to swear, who says you would have sworn that he owes you the money and you would have collected? Who says you would have sworn? Maybe you would have backed off from swearing and better not collect the money. Says, you want to, what's the case? You're going to show you Shneidim Chashudim. Side the Levi, side the Malva were Chashudim. The Mamar, for Rabbi had said in such a case, Chazer Shvul Mechuyev Loi. Then it goes back to the one that's Mechuyev, because if the one that has to swear cannot swear, it goes to the other party, and if the other party cannot swear, it goes back to the original party, which is the Levi. And since the Nitva, the Levi cannot swear, Mishon, he has to pay. So by they not testifying, and it was a case that both of them were chshudim, and the Levi would have to swear, and he wouldn't be able to swear, he caused that the Malva not get paid his money by not testifying. Therefore, he's chai for Shavous Eidos. Next case, everybody agrees in the specific case of Eid Echad, the Rabbi Abba, the case of Rabbi Abba. Now, who Gabra? There was this person that stole a bar silver from his friend. Rabbi Yami. He came before Rabbi Yami to be Teveya, have a Yasser. Rabbi Abba Kamei. Rabbi Abba was sitting before Rabbi Yami at that time. And it says it's mashma that Rabbi Yami Rabbi Abba was the Talmud of Rabbi Yami. Also, I see Chatzada, this Tevaya went and brought one aid, the Michtav Chatva that this person had grabbed. He brought the aid to testify that he stole or grabbed this bar of silver. Amalei, so the Nitva answered in yes, Chatvi, but they did Chatvi. I did grab it, but I grabbed my own. Rabbi Yabi. Rabbi Yabi said, how should the Dayanim be done this day? Lishal, and make the one who grabbed it pay. That's impossible. Like a Teisade, there's no two Adam that are testifying that he grabbed it. So if so, he has amigo. He could have said, "I never grabbed anything." And he could have said, so by him saying he grabbed his, we should believe him. Lifted it, patted the one who grabbed it completely. That's impossible. There's one aid that testifies that he grabbed it. Lishtaba, let the grabber swear and be parted from Ashwa. This aid echad is being mechayiv the nitva to swear, and he can't. Why can't he swear? Even the Amai in Chatvi, he's being made, he stole. So what is he going to swear? He's agreeing that he stole. Then can have it like a Gazlan. So he's similar to a Gazlan who cannot swear. Here, this case also he cannot swear that he didn't grab it because he's made it that he grabbed it. So this shvua, since this shvua cannot be that the aid is being mechayiv, the aid is going to be mechayiv safe dava. So Rabbi Ami didn't know what to do. So how should we pass it? Amalei Rabbi Yabba, his student said back to Rabbi Ami, Havalei mechayiv shvua, ene yochel shvua lishava. The one who grabbed it is one who is mechayiv to swear, but he cannot swear like we said because he admitted that he grabbed it. So he cannot swear he didn't grab it. And anybody that's mechuyev hashvua and he's unable to swear, the call is shemeshalim, that he pays. So here you have another case where the aid is going to be chayv hashvua ha'edus because through his testimony he would have made the one who grabbed it have to pay because the one who grabbed it wouldn't be able to swear, and he would be mechuyev to pay. So therefore, even though it's one aid that's going to be mechayiv mashvua, but it would also be mechayiv to pay. It would be mechayiv the grabber to swear, but he wouldn't be able to swear, and he would have to pay. So therefore, that aid would be chayiv shvuas ha'edus. But again, so the Gemara had proven from all this that Rabbi Lazar's agreement that aid is only there to be mechayiv shvua, which at the end could lead to be mechayiv mamen. So is it so? If this was the shaila, if it's only a geidel mamen, Rabbi Lazar says it's kemamen dami, and he's going to be chayiv shvuas ha'edus. And all these cases where we brought down it was a Gadol Mamein, Rabbi Lazar will hold that he's going to buy Chayv Shus Haidus. But this last case, everybody's made, even the Rabbanon, because this is not a gram. This is a direct case where the grabber would have to pay Mamein, and if they wouldn't testify, he wouldn't pay Mamein. It's Mamish connected. It's the aid that's being mechayiv mamin through making him swear. And the previous case also where the mal and the lever were both choshed al shvua, he would have been, through him testifying and making the lever have to swear, and the lever wouldn't be able to swear, and the malva wouldn't be able to swear either. So would go back to the lever. So the lever would have to pay. So these are two cases. Even the Rabbanan would be made that the aid, if he knew testimony, he didn't. He'll be chayv for shvus haidus. Everybody agrees. Aid, when an aid knows aid is al misa shu chayiv. That's one case. You have one case that will be chayiv, and everybody agrees. When there's one aid al misa shu pata, that is going to be pata. What are the two cases? So he starts off. And Papa explains first the last case where he's pata. Hakol meidim beid misa by aid that knows about the death of her husband, Shu Pata, that he's Pata to testify that the husband died, Amalah, because they could say to the Ledida, to the woman herself, outside of Bezdin, and when the Amalah Bezdin, and also when the Isha was Masbiyah, that he should testify for her in Bezdin. He denied it. He's pater. Why? It's not because we learned in the Mishnah, Isha, She'amra, Isha, that she and her husband went to Midin Sayam, and her husband died. The Amra Meis Baile, and she knows that her husband died. She says her husband died. Tinaseh, the halach is, if she didn't have any children, and she said her husband died, and let's say the husband had a brother, Meis Baile, Tisyam, then she would, first of all, Tinaseh, if she didn't have a brother, then she would be able to get married. If he had a brother, Meis Baile, Tisyam, and he had a brother, he would do Yivum. So from this Mishnah, you see the Isha is believed on herself to say her husband died. She doesn't need aid to testify for her. Second case, Hakol Meidim is Be'eid Misa Shul Chai. It's talking about she doesn't even know that her husband died. And the aid is to testify, and the Loi Amal Dida, and the aid didn't say testimony to her, to the Isha itself, and nor did he testify in Bezdin that the husband died. So first of all, she's able to collect from the Yarshim. So that's a cause of a loss of money. So by the not testifying, he's causing her a loss of the ksuba. So therefore, he's going to be chayiv if he denies and that he doesn't know any edus, and then we find out he knows edus. He caused her a loss of money. Says Gemara Shmamina. From here we have a raya masbiya ede karka. Somebody who's masbiya edus on karka to testify for them, and that the karka is theirs, and the aid denies it. And we catch him lying. Chayiv is chayiv b'shvus heses, even by karka. And we said by karka is a machlekes. And later on, the Gemara had a machlekes on Lamed Zayin Amud Beis. Says the Gemara, from here you have no raya by karka, that because the ksuba is normally by karka, and here we're saying that if he was masbiya, that he doesn't know the edus. And when we find out that he did know the edus, so he caused a loss in the ksuba, which a ksuba is normally karka. So you see, even by karka, is finding of chiva shvus edus. Says you want to know, dilma the tfisa metaltli. Maybe the words of Papa was referring to a case that she already grabbed metaltlin the word while he was alive, while the husband was alive. So it's hers, and now she just wants to keep it. So it has nothing to do with karka. So you can't prove it. So you can't prove that by karka also there's the chiyuv shvus edus, because the words of Papa was not talking about karka. Zog, we learned in the Mishnah Kafach, if one aid denied and one aid was made, the kaif is going to be chayiv. In fact, you want to hash the bezach hazed tavayu kafri, madach where one after another, the denying the edus. Amata, you said rishon chayiv, asheni pata, the rishon is chayiv. Kafa echad, where one is denying and the but the second one was maida, that he knows edus. Mebaya, for sure, the first one, the kaif is going to be, the first one is going to be chayiv. So what do you have to tell us? They both denied. And then the second one, changed his mind and said he knows edus. And this is what he's coming to teach us. The Teikidei is like dibur. It's understood according to Rav Chizda. He established the case of Kafir Shneim Keachot, Rav Yossi Aglili, that was Mamish Bevas Achas. So the Reish is telling us a case Bevas Achas, and which is Efshel Etzamtzin, that it could be Mamish Bevas Achas. The Sefer Yitzchel Shminon, and the Sefer is come to tell you a new Chiddush, that Teikidei Dibur Kedibur Dami, that even though it wasn't Bevas Achas, it was Teikidei Dibur, and he retracted that he's going to be potter. That it's impossible, that it should be Bevas Achas in the Reisha. Rather, the Reisha was talking about Teikidei Dibur, and therefore both are going to be chayiv. There was one kaifer, and then there was a second kaifer, because the shaila was madach. If there's one kaifer, and then comes a second kaifer, you said that the first kaifer is going to be chayiv, and the second one is pater. How much more so when two come together? I'm sorry. How much more so when one is kaif and the second one is made? For sure, the first kaifa is going to be chayiv. But the first case where we said that they both came bevas achas, that they kind of came to testify bevas achas. So if you're learning over there bevas achas that they're both going to be chayiv, so and you're learning that the way it was bevas achas is because it was teichidei dibur. So what are you coming to tell us in the Sefer again about a chiddush about teichidei dibur? Sefer teichidei dibur. If you're saying the Sefer is coming to tell you if the second one retracted, he started off saying Eidos with the first one. He was kafir together with the first one, and then he retracted to say that he knows the tainus that he's going to be potter. Well, what's the chiddush in this? We know teichidei dibur is kedibur davar. From the Reisha, where they testified b'vas achas, and you said it was teichidei dibur. And I would have thought to say hani mili kvira kvira. Only when they're both saying the same thing, they're both being kaifer. Avol kvira v'heida. But what's if he was first kaifer and then he retracted and being made that he knows the tainus? Teichidei dibur emalei. I would have thought maybe we don't say the halacha this way. Because in this case, you need a second dibur of Haidah to be mevatel the first dibur. And this type of teichidei dibur we did not say in the first case. Kamash Malan, he comes to teach us that even though he said a second dibur, to be mevatel the first dibur, we'll still say teichidei dibur kedibur damei, and he can be mevatel the first dibur and be made and he will be pater.